and welcome to Moms on Mics. I'm Joanne.
I'm Cash.
And I'm Sophia.
So ignore our voices if we sound like, what was her name? Phoebe from Friends. Do you remember that? When she did Smelly Cat, or was it Smelly Cat? And she was sick and she was like trying to stay sick.
Oh yeah,
Anyway,
yeah, yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Because her
Yeah.
voice was the best when she was sick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm hoping I can channel that type of sound for today. So,
Channel your Phoebe.
yeah. All right, we're going to start off with a poem. Remember, remember the 5th of November, gunpowder, treason, and plot. I know of no reason why the gunpowder treason should ever be forgot. Guy Fawkes and his companions did the scheme contrive to blow the king and parliament all up alive. 70 barrels laid below to prove old England's overthrow. But by God's providence, him they catch with a dark lantern lighting a match. A stick and a stake for King James's sake. If you won't give me one, I'll take two. The better for me and the worse for you. A rope to hang the Pope. A pennyworth of cheese to choke him. A pint of beer to wash it down. And a jolly good fire to burn him. Holla boys, make the bells ring. Holla boys, God save the king. Hip hip hooray.
Oh, that's
Sophia, your face.
controversial. I'm like, I can't believe she's saying that right now on air.
Anyone from England knows exactly what this is. So, do you remember in school when you guys learned the poem In Flanders Fields?
Yeah,
Yep.
So when I was in school, we learned this one.
that is wild.
Right?
That is wild.
Yeah. So this episode, for anyone not from England, is about the most celebrated day in England, Bonfire Night. And I'm laughing because to me this is totally normal. And if you guys could all see Cash and Sophia's faces, they're like, what the fuck?
I was like, what? I'm like, she's really saying that?
Yeah. Kids, we used to like walk around singing it and or like saying it, whatever. And Bonfire Night is amazing.
Is it a poem or is it like a song, like a tune and a rhyme?
It's a limerick, right? So a poem that is, it's a poem, but it's catchy. I'm not explaining that well. There's no music that goes along with it, if that if that clears that up.
Okay.
Okay, so before the 16th century, England was a Roman Catholic country. However, Henry VIII set up a new Protestant Church of England after the Pope said he could not divorce his first wife, Catherine of Aragon. His son, Edward VI, continued this new religion during his short reign, but after he died, Mary I became queen and changed England's official religion back to Catholicism. During her reign, many people were executed for refusing to change their religion to match the Queen's. After Mary I died, her sister Elizabeth I became queen. She changed the religion back to the Church of England, and Elizabeth I died in 1603, and in 1605 her cousin James I was on the throne, and the Church of England was still the official religion. All these changes have taken place in a short amount of time and were very stressful for people who could be executed for following the wrong religion. Could you fucking imagine? They're like, wait, what year of it is it? Are we Church of England? Are we Catholic? Oh no, wrong one. Shit. That would be so stressful. Oh my God. People had to go to a Protestant church or risk paying large fines, so many Catholics worshipped in secret in their own homes. Most of them felt that their belief was private and they remained loyal to the crown, but not all of them.
On Sunday, 20th May 1604, a group of Catholics met at a pub called the Dog and Duck in London. These men were Robert Catesby, Thomas Winter, John Wright, Thomas Piercy, and Guy Fawkes. They were mostly wealthy men, and all of them were devout Catholic. It was Robert Catesby who thought of the plot. He told the men that he had a plan to blow up the king and his parliament and persuade the others to swear an oath that they would help him. But if it was Catesby who came up with the plan, why is Guy Fawkes the name we all remember? Guy Fawkes was a well-liked and highly skilled soldier. He spent time fighting in Europe and probably learned about gunpowder and explosives while he was there. As a result, he was the one chosen to light the gunpowder under the Palace of Westminster, but that put him at risk of being caught, and he was.
The plan was a simple one, to blow up the Palace of Westminster during the opening of Parliament, killing everyone inside, including King James I and his heir, Prince Henry. What the plotters were going to do afterwards is not very clear, but it seems that they planned to lead a Catholic uprising. They would also capture King James's young daughter, Elizabeth, and make her queen, with a Catholic nobleman ruling for her. And so they hoped England would be a Catholic country once more. It was easy to get the gunpowder. A war with Spain had just finished, and there was lots available on the black market. The big problem was to get it to the Palace of Westminster without anyone noticing. One of the plotters, Thomas Parry, rented a storeroom underneath the House of Lords, and Guy Fawkes pretended to be Percy's servant, called John Johnson. There wasn't much security, and they were easily able to hide 36 barrels of gunpowder in a dark room. Now the plotters just had to wait for their chance, the opening of Parliament on 5th November.
By the 30th of October, the plot was beginning to unravel. A few days earlier, Lord Monteagle had received an anonymous letter telling him not to go into Parliament on the 5th of November. The mysterious author asked Monteagle to burn the letter after he had read it, but instead he took it straight to the Earl of Salisbury, who worked for the king. A servant told Robert Catesby that his plot had been shared with the king, but he decided to continue anyway and persuaded the other plotters to do the same. On the night of the 4th of November, the king ordered the Palace of Westminster to be searched. They found Guy Fawkes in the storeroom with a lot of firewood. Then they discovered that the space was being rented to Thomas Percy, and this made them more suspicious. King James ordered a second search. Sometime around midnight on the 5th of November, they went back into the storeroom and found the gunpowder. Guy Fawkes was there too and had fuses with him to light the powder. He was arrested immediately, and a warrant was issued for Thomas Percy's arrest too.
To make him share the names of the other plotters, Guy Fawkes was not only questioned, but also tortured. It was hoped that the pain would make him talk, and after 2 days he gave in. Using the information from Guy Fawkes' confessions and information from spies, investigators uncovered the names of the other plotters, and quickly went to arrest them. On the 8th of November, 8 plotters tried to make a last stand against 200 men in Staffordshire. Most of them were either killed or wounded, including Robert Catesby and Thomas Percy, who died from their injuries. The survivors were arrested and put on trial. All the plotters were found guilty and sentenced to a traitor's death by being hung, drawn, and quartered for their crimes.
The plot became part of England's story almost immediately. People thought that the discovery of this plot and the defeat of the Spanish Armada during Elizabeth I's reign were signs that the English were favored by God. In January 1606, Parliament passed an act that meant that every church in England had to hold a special service on the 5th of November each year, and these were often anti-Catholic. In the decades after the plot, other celebrations started to appear, as well as the church services. There isn't a lot of evidence, but it seems that they were widespread and included bonfires, bell ringing, and sometimes official artillery gun salutes and fireworks. From 1673 up to the 19th century, some crowds paraded a model of the Pope through the streets and put it on a bonfire, symbolizing that people still believed in bad things about Catholics. However, during the French Revolution, Britain was on the same side as the Pope, and English and Irish Catholics fought for Britain. After this, Guy Fawkes became the villain of Bonfire Night rather than the Pope.
From the 20th century, Bonfire Night celebrations have been family events. Many people have firework displays in their back gardens, and children would wear Guy Fawkes masks and build a guy, wheel him around the streets in a wheelbarrow, asking people for a penny for the guy. You would use the money for buying fireworks. Many communities and local pubs hold large celebrations in parks where people can come together to see spectacular fireworks lighting up the night. But do fireworks have any link back to the original story? Well, the source of those whizzies, pops, and bangs is in fact gunpowder. The black powder is what propels fireworks up into the sky and it makes them explode into beautiful displays, very different from the use that Guy Fawkes and his plotters had intended back in 1605. Okay, so let me explain this a little bit. So basically, you would make a guy, meaning a Guy Fawkes, which was very confusing when I first moved here. And they'd be like, "Do you know that guy?" I'm like, "You guys have a guy?" I'm like, "That's so cool. How do you know about that? Do you light him on fire?" So basically you take old clothes and you stuff it full of newspaper and then make like a head, usually with like your mom's tights, and you'd shove it full of like newspaper to make like a circle. And so you connect it all together so it looks kind of like a scarecrow, but stuffed with newspaper instead. And so then you put that in the wheelbarrow and you literally go to your neighbors' houses and ask for a penny for the guy. And everyone just like, this is like our version of trick or treat, basically. So that's the money we would collect and get to use to buy fireworks or sparklers or whatever. And then when you go back home for your bonfire, you throw the guy on the bonfire. But it was it's just it's real, I don't know, it's so much fun and nobody here gets it, but in England they have parades, like it's this huge deal in England, and I've tried to bring it here, but I swear to God, man, it's fucking blizzards every November the 5th here. And I'm like, damn it. Like, I always have plans. I've got extra firewood in my shed right now waiting for it. And I swear to God, last November the 5th, my fire pit was completely covered in snow. It had been like a major blizzard. And I'm like, I'm still doing it. And my friends are like, okay. And then my husband's like, absolutely not, because the wind was so wild. He's like, no, we are not doing that. But yeah, it's a really fun celebration. Lewis Bonfire celebration in East Sussex.
Lewis hosts one of the most famous and largest bonfire night celebrations in the UK. The event features 6 local bonfire societies parading through the streets, accompanied by burning effigies, torches, and extravagant firework displays. This traditional celebration goes beyond just fireworks, commemorating historical events, including Guy Fawkes and the town's own historical figures. Brockham Bonfire, Surrey. Brockham's Bonfire Night is known for its huge bonfire, one of the biggest in the UK, which is followed by a spectacular fireworks show. The village green fills with families enjoying the traditional celebrations, making it a cozy, community-oriented event.
Blackheath Fireworks, London, one of the largest free fireworks display in London. Blackheath offers a massive fireworks show alongside a fun fair and food stalls. The event attracts thousands of people each year and provides a great community atmosphere. Roundhay Park Fireworks, Leeds. Roundhay Park in Leeds draws huge crowds for its annual free Bonfire Night celebration, along with a spectacular fireworks display over the park's scenic landscape. The event includes a large bonfire, food stalls, and plenty of activities for families.
Yeah, so those are some of like the biggest, most like well-known in England. Like people will travel across the country to go to these specific bonfire nights. And if you ever get the chance, look them up on YouTube. They are amazing. Like the parades and stuff, they are so cool. Like you would have no idea, like it's celebrating some guy that tried to blow up Parliament. Or celebrating, I guess, the fact that he didn't blow up Parliament, but it's pretty cool. Okay, so Guy Fawkes Night or Bonfire Night isn't just a backyard fire pit. Some of the bonfires range from 40 to 60 feet high. There are parades and burning crosses, tar barrel races, fireworks being set off in the streets, floats that are lit on fire, and children running around with sparklers. While for the most part, Bonfire Night tends to be quite safe, all things considered, there are a few incidents of people being hit by fireworks and getting burned. The amount of accidents and injuries have increased in recent years, which is likely due to the population growth. Tragically, there have been some deaths also. People are going to get terrorized tonight. What are the good ones to let off at people? That is what teenager Kai Cooper asked a man running a fireworks shop on the night of 28th of October 2021. Later, the 18-year-old from Leatherhead, Surrey, and Callum Doon, 15, from Southend, Essex, stuffed a lit firework through a letterbox of an 88-year-old Josephine Smith's home, starting a fire that killed her. The shopkeeper would later plead guilty to selling fireworks to Doon, an underage boy. The pair, who were detained last year for Mrs. Smith's manslaughter, had thrown fireworks at passing cars and into shop doorways before they targeted the house in Romford, East London.
Two teenagers have been locked up for a firework attack, which led to the death of a widower in his terrace home in East London. In the years leading up to the attack, Robert Price, 76, had been the target of a prolonged campaign of harassment and criminal damage, the Old Bailey was told. Nathan, 18, and a 16-year-old who cannot be named due to his age threatened to torch the pensioner before punching a hole in his window and pushing a firework into his home on Oval Road, North Dagenham, last July. The pair had admitted manslaughter and were sentenced on Monday by a judge, Rebecca Trawler Casey.
However, more people have been killed by fireworks in India, China, the US, Mexico, and France than in the UK. In England, there are adverts, aka commercials, on TV warning of the dangers of fireworks. The Fire Brigade do public service announcements and campaigns to help teach about fireworks safety. British laws around fireworks changed in 1997, then again in 2004, making the purchasing of certain fireworks more difficult for safety reasons. Buying fireworks, you can only buy fireworks, including sparklers, from registered sellers for private use on these dates: October 15th to November 10th, December 26th to December 31st, or 3 days before Diwali and Chinese New Year. At other times, you can only buy fireworks from licensed shops. There are age restrictions by firework category. Category 1, fireworks, low hazard, indoor, 16 and over. Category 2 and 3, fireworks, medium and high hazard, outdoor, 18 and over. This includes sparklers. Category 4 fireworks, high hazard, only available to licensed professionals.
Yeah, so when I was there, so I moved here in 89 and we could buy fireworks anywhere, which is not cool, I guess. But at the time, though, there wasn't very many incidents. Like they had like the adverts on TV and they were pretty graphic. They were kids or usually like teenagers throwing fireworks at other people and they would grab their eye and pretend that they'd got a firework in the eye and stuff. And we used to have like the fire brigade would come into the school and do a big speech about like fire safety and all that. So I feel like everyone was pretty safe. I had never, like none of the bonfire nights that I had been to, there'd never been any incidents. Usually it was more a drunken dad that stumbled too close to the bonfire or like was like, "Oh, I'll just pull it out or whatever." Because we used to make like baked potatoes. So you would like wrap your baked potato in foil, put it on like a twig from a tree, whatever, and then stick it in the bonfire and then cook it. Kind of like how you guys do here with like fire pits and stuff. And then you have like the hot dogs. We kind of did the same thing, but we didn't really have hot dog. I mean, I didn't. Other people probably did, but we didn't really have hot dogs. We had like sausages, so we would do the same thing, but they were greasier. But there was a lot of like most of the burns came from touching your potato when it was too hot. Not so much the like the bonfire or anything. And then we'd have sparklers and like so some of the adverts would be like, you don't hit each other with the sparklers because, kids are kids and they just do stuff like that. But they were pretty harmless. It was a lot of fun. You guys have like Halloween and stuff, and then in the UK we have Bonfire Night. And we didn't celebrate Halloween at all, but Bonfire Night was the big one. And it
That
was
was my next question. I'm like, did you guys celebrate Halloween? Not at all?
no,
No.
no. So I remember the last year that we were in England, we had watched like ET had come out, and so it like on ET how there's a lot of trick-or-treating, right? And so it kind of started people being like, we want to do that too. And I remember my sister and we just went to our neighbors and we're like, trick or treat, but we didn't have costumes on. We didn't have anything with us. We're just like, trick or treat. And our neighbors are like, get lost. So, but when we went back and we were like, penny for the guy, they would give us like 10 pence or 50 pence or whatever. And so we're like, okay. I think we trick-or-treated at our own house. And even our parents, I think they're like, here's an orange. I'm like, I don't think that's how that works. That does not seem like what they got on EC. But yeah, so I don't know. Bonfire Night, it was great. It was so much fun. I never got to see any of the really elaborate like parades and stuff like that. We usually either did it in our own backyard or at the pub. The pub was, they had the best one. And I mean, it was a favorite because then Dad could just drink at the pub and we could enjoy the bonfire night. But there was like, we let off fireworks in our backyard and everyone on the street let off fireworks in their backyard and stuff. And I don't know. I don't remember it being a big issue. I can see now, like the population in the UK is way more than it was back in 89. And a lot of the population is also new to the UK. So like, like immigrants. So I don't know if they join in and celebrate it as much. But I think that's probably like the population growth and stuff is probably what's made it a little bit more dangerous now than it ever used to be. But hopefully that, tapers off because it was a great time. We learned about it in school. It was always just been fun. I mean, I guess the history behind it is not so great. But like many things though, right? I guess it could be argued that Thanksgiving is not, the history behind at least the American Thanksgiving. I don't really know what that history is, but I know people say it's not great. So I think it could kind of be similar to that, I think. But yeah. All right. Well, that's Bonfire Night. You're welcome. That's it for Moms on Mics this week.
Don't forget to follow us on Instagram at Moms on Mics Podcast, on TikTok at Moms on Mics, and join our Facebook group Moms on Mics.
If anyone has any topics you want us to cover, or if you have any questions or suggestions, you can email us at momsonmics@gmail.com or submit through our website, momsonmics.com.
We would also appreciate it if you could rate and review us on whatever platform you're listening on. It really helps the podcast move up on their charts so it gets more exposure. Hope you join us again next week. Goodbye.
Bye.
Goodbye.